My name is Hank Tharp, and today in this short and controversial video, you're going to discover a life-changing story of how I, with the aid of a simple, mind-blowing device, was able to save myself and my family, heat our home, and cook warm meals during the longest, most terrifying blackouts in American history. I'm going to reveal for the very first time how this revolutionary invention that can be used by anyone around the globe to generate whopping amounts of electricity can help you ameliorate your electric bill almost overnight. I will also reveal how you, like the other 22,103 folks who have already successfully used the very same technique, can live a better life with more money in your pockets. I know your curiosity is piqued, and you want to know exactly how this simple system works right now. Honestly, what I'm about to reveal to you today will totally shock you, and in a few minutes from now, you'll be furious that you ever gave a single thin dime to those corporate fat cats. So pay close attention to this short presentation for the next few minutes, and grab something to write with while you still can, because I don't know how long I'll keep this free presentation online. Yet, before we go any further, let me tell you who I am and how I found this very special and unique method. As I mentioned, my name is Hank Tharp. I'm a 53-year-old personnel coordinator from Akron, Ohio, and I live just outside the town with my wife and daughter. Living here, I know that steep utility bills are somewhat of a burden, and we've been dealing with this for longer than anyone cares to admit. And while I've certainly never liked having to pay $220 or more per month to keep my home warm during the winters or cool during our muggy summers, I'd always just accepted that that's the way it is. In the summer of 2003, August 14th, however, all that changed. The absolute worst day of my life, a day known as the day the lights went out. Listen, here in Ohio, blackouts are not something out of the ordinary. Yet, this time was different. We'd just been hit by a massive, history-making grid failure. We suddenly found ourselves with no power, no internet, no fridge, no water, nothing. It was going to get crazy. 4 hours in the extraordinary event. Gridlock, heartbreak. Emergency services were stretched thin. And to make matters worse, my wife Carrie was already 2 days overdue to give birth to our second child. I tried calling the electric company, yet they said that they were working to fix the problem as quickly as they could and that they had no realistic time frame for when the light would come back on. First thing in the morning, I went to check on my family, and what happened next made me stop dead in my tracks. That was the moment when I heard my daughter screaming, "Mommy, are you okay?" "Yes, honey. Your brother is just making a lot of movements in here. I think he's coming." Unsure what to do and feeling helpless to protect my family, I started panicking and we jumped in the car as fast as we could. My wife was putting pressure on me. "Hank, I need you to hurry up. I need you to go faster." I was going as fast as I could, but with no stoplights on, I gotta be careful. We gotta get there safe. Suddenly, boom, somebody just crashed into our car. I dragged my wife out from the car and leaned her against a tree. "He's not going to wait, Hank. He's coming now." I shouted, begging for help. "Help! My wife is in labor. Can you please help?" A lady came to help us, to help my wife, and somehow she managed to give birth to our son. That woman instantly took us to her house nearby. When that door opened, I felt a blast of AC coming from inside and saw her husband watching TV. "He's my husband, Keith," the woman told us. Then she took my wife and daughter to the bathroom to give them first aid and also called the ambulance. I was so stunned, I couldn't even speak at first. Left with Keith, I finally spit it out as I pointed to the room. "How in the world? What the? How? I mean, are you powering all of this with a gas generator? That's not even possible." Yet, before I could ask any more questions, the ambulance came and we went directly to the hospital. My wife, my daughter, and newly born son were safe and sound, and we finally felt relieved. Yet, that was the single most devastating moment of my life. I felt like my world collapsed. I felt powerless because there was nothing I could do to protect the ones I love. I decided at that very moment that I would never put the safety of my family on the line like that ever again. After we came back from the hospital and things came back to normal, I immediately began researching every single energy alternative I could find. I made it my sole purpose because leaving my family's well-being in the hands of electric companies clearly wasn't an option anymore. Not only did their power lines always seem to go down during bad storms, but they'd been absolutely price gouging me for more than a decade. And laughing all the way to the bank, as they scooped thousands of hard-earned dollars right out of my pocket. So, I immediately began to look at alternatives that would help my family escape Big Electric's monopoly on our safety. I considered buying a heavy-duty generator. It would certainly be a good backup power source, and I did research this option pretty intensely. But to get a really good, high-quality generator, something that could provide enough energy for my entire home, I was looking at a $1,000 investment, and that wasn't including the cost of gas. Just try and power your home full-time with a generator. You'd need to use about 90 gallons of gas per month, and at a cost of around $220 to do it. Plus, it's not like I wanted to store 90 gallons of gasoline anywhere in my home anyways. So, realizing a generator wasn't a real option, I began looking at solar power. Now, we've come a long way when it comes to developing solar cells, and they really can be effective. Still, in a place like Ohio, where it can be overcast for a month straight during the winter, depending on solar panel was still shaky at best. Yet, to have panels professionally installed would have cost me $11,000, money I certainly didn't have lying around. And trying to get a DIY solar kit also seemed pointless because not only did they cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000, almost every review I read online said that they rarely produced even 20% of the energy that their manufacturers advertised. That left me with only one option. If I was going to make sure I never let my family down again, and to get us safe forever, I needed to create my own solution. Something cheap that I could build in no time, easy to move. If I needed to bug out of town, it should be easily transportable. Shouldn't use a limited power source to generate electricity. If there's no sun, no gas or wind, it should still work fine without interruption. So, I locked myself in my study, sat down in my favorite reclining chair, and put my mind to work. Many sleepless nights passed, and I was getting tired of surfing the internet for a simple solution. Yet, one day, my wife reminded me about the family that helped us when our baby boy was born, and how they managed to have all the power they needed when the world outside was burning in flames. As you can imagine, I had to know more. If I'd known whatever Keith's secret was before the tragic incident, I could have totally avoided the nightmare we've gone through. Well, you'd better believe I didn't waste any time and went to his door. I was going to pick his brain out about everything he knew to show me how he did it. Keith happily agreed to show me what he used in those days of panic and despair. "Let me show you," is all he said as he headed towards the garden shed. And when I saw it, it blew my mind. He pointed his finger at a small device the size of a suitcase. It was so silent that you couldn't even hear it running. Turns out, Keith worked as a mechanical engineer and was a renewable energy enthusiast. His life goal was to save the planet and offer our children a better life. As a dedicated researcher in this field, he invested in the resources he needed to do it. And setting his goal to help developing countries, as he said, he dedicated his life to discovering new technology, and he did a thorough research. He told me how biomass gasifiers can be used to produce huge amounts of energy in third world countries, and how they use pretty much every kind of waste, burn it, and produce an efficient gas that can later be converted to electricity. While something like this might actually work pretty well for creating a backup power source of energy, Keith told me there was zero chance my family would get on board with such an unstable and possibly dangerous energy source. So he moved on, trying to find a viable solution, until the day he realized the answer to all his problems was sitting under his nose all this time. He explained that years ago he'd realized that a particular rotational principle that is still being used in today's vehicles could be the solution he was looking for. Everybody, including top engineers, were shocked to see how brilliant the idea was. You're probably thinking that there's no way something so mainstream like the rotational conversion could hold the key to the safety and well-being of your family. Yet, he told me the initial test literally blew him away. I insisted to tell me how it worked to explain more. As you probably already know, in nature, there are many power sources that haven't yet been tapped into, because they're limited to specific motions like those of the handle of a tire jack. Yet, Keith's real secret laid in accepting either full or semi-rotational movements in any direction and converting, then boosting them into a solid, powerful, one-way rotation. What you may not realize, however, is just how much energy such a principle can produce and how many applications it can have. The true secret of this energy is that it's so simple to obtain, and the fundamentals are so easy, yet few know this secret and it's rarely used. So, if properly applied, it can produce insane amounts of energy. Keith tweaked it until it was giving out almost 3 times more power at only half the input, and used the energy to regenerate the system while it provides power for whatever you need. That was the solution to my problem. As you can imagine, I had to know how this so-called energy converter worked, and if I could duplicate it for myself. After an hour of not understanding a single thing he told me, I was totally discouraged. I struggled to understand, yet I didn't have a technical bone in my body, so I had no idea what all these numbers and equations meant. So I asked, is there a way to simplify everything you just explained? Think about all the people you could help, I said. This could save lives, thousands of lives, if only people could learn how to quickly and easily recreate your system themselves. I could see he loved the idea of helping people. Heck, he just helped me and my family from avoiding a tragedy and starving, so the thought of helping thousands, if not millions in the same way, really appealed to him. However, I insisted that the system we came up with had to be incredibly cheap to build, and I couldn't stress enough that it had to be a cakewalk to construct. Something I could hands down explain to my family how to put together if, God forbid, SHTF again. So we swung into high gear and began working on the project together. The first models we made were either too expensive or too complicated for me to build. Keith wanted to bump me off a few times, mostly because of me being a hardhead. I needed the device to be affordable and simple. Ultimately, after several tries and more than 6 months of struggle, we finally managed to create a design that looked to be what we were searching for. The model was genius. We only used a couple of sprockets, a stainless steel shaft, some ring gears, and 2 pinions. Put together, the parts and tools cost us $208 at Lowe's. Plus, I'm sure we could have found the parts for less at garage sales, online, or even free at the local junkyard. And the best part was that this ingenious design was completely safe. No fire, no dangerous gases released, so we were absolutely positive that the possibility of any unwanted event was completely ruled out. You simply had to place the parts in the right order and at the right spot, and because of the remarkable way the device was constructed, it generated an extraordinary amount of power, which was then immediately captured, boosted, and converted into usable electricity. On top of it all, the solution can work anywhere to power everything from small radios to big refrigerators, big screen TVs, computers. It won't take half of your backyard to assemble, and it's incredibly easy to connect, even if you have trouble using your toaster oven. Well, next we were eager to test everything out and see if we'd scored, to find out if it would really do the job as we first envisioned. We plugged the device to the inlet switch, and we were totally shocked to find out that the system immediately went to work. It was a hit, a real winner. And thanks to Keith's clever technique, all of that electricity was instantly captured, providing a steady, robust supply of electricity right into my home. While at the same time, the device was regenerating without any intervention from our side. We connected it to a bunch of appliances in my home and also switched the lights on to see if it holds, and not only did it handle everything without a hitch, but we were running the refrigerator, the dishwasher, the television, and all of the lights in our home with no problem whatsoever. The naked truth, I almost couldn't believe my eyes at how pure and simple all of this was. It took me 3 hours to build one from scratch and a little over $200. And before I knew it, my own super efficient device was running on all cylinders. Once plugged in, we continued our daily life for the rest of the month and didn't change our way of using the lights, AC, or appliances in any way. And when that bill came at the end of the month, well, you could have knocked me over with a feather. 62% off in the first month. And my family was safe and more confident. I loved the fact that I was teaching my daughter such a great lesson about not being dependent on anyone for your safety and well-being. And I felt so relieved to know that my children would always grow up in a warm, safe, and comfortable home. Fast forward to this day. Since then, we managed to save more than we ever dreamed of. And the generator holds true both in the coldest winter months, when the temperature can get down into the negative tens, as well as in the hottest, muggiest days of summer, when the thermometer soars past 100. Plus, with just a small increase in scale, I managed to squeeze enough current from my device so the next bills were even sweeter. Not long ago, my friends and neighbors started asking me to show them my secret. As soon as I let them in on what the extraordinary system Keith and I designed was, many had doubts about how something so small could generate so much power. Yet, after they discovered the surprisingly simple step-by-step instructions and followed them to create their own super-efficient energy-producing station in about the time it takes to assemble a piece of IKEA furniture, they quickly started to believe. Because when they started to use this powerful, proven invention to power up their electrical appliances, the results were astonishing over and over again, having an overabundance of renewable green energy that they could use whenever, wherever they needed. Having electricity worry-free, running the AC at full power, keeping their televisions on, their lights at full glow, and their basements comfy, even their biggest energy hogs. News about my little home power plant traveled faster than I expected. And soon the number of phone calls and emails from people asking me to share the blueprints for my one-of-a-kind energy system were just too much. My wife started to lean on me and told me that I had to find a more efficient way to share this knowledge and breakthrough technology with the world. So I went back to the drawing board and spent months writing a detailed manual, not to mention testing everything to make sure anyone could build it in simple steps, and after a truckload of work, the Nomad Power System was born. The Nomad Power System is a simple, easy-to-follow step-by-step guide showing you exactly how to create your own home power plant today to drastically slash your electric bill in the next 30 days. You've no doubt noticed that the Nomad Power System was specifically designed so that anyone, no matter what age or skill, can build it even if you have trouble changing a light bulb. In fact, you'll be shocked by how few steps there actually are and how short the list of materials you need to build this is. Inside this system, which I'll tell you how you can access in just a second, you'll see exactly what those steps are inside a professionally designed manual that will help you build a system from start to finish. As I said, it took me over a year to develop a simplified method to build the system, and don't ask me about the costs. I strongly believe it's immensely valuable. And that's not all. You'll get the Nomad Power System in electronic format so you can have instant access to everything from anywhere. You'll also receive detailed instructions that will show you exactly how to assemble your system in less than 3 hours and how to connect it to any appliance. The list of materials cost less than $208 total and will last for years. But if you have a junkyard in your town, you can probably find about 90% of those materials for free. Additionally, you're also going to find out how to manufacture your own parts and pieces with a minimum effort, a full list of tools, and how to use them properly to build your system so you'll have an unrestricted amount of power inside your home. And on top of all that, the Nomad Power System is virtually maintenance-free. There's no fire, no burning, no dangerous gases being released. In fact, there's very little to spend at all. No maintenance costs, breakdowns, clouds, bird dropping, noise, and all the things that you have to be worrying about. Instead, all you have to do is start the system and enjoy. The device is basically set and forget. To date, more than 22,103 families have used this exact same system to discover the joyfulness and peace that comes with renewable electricity. So, with all of that being said, I want you to pause and think about this for a second. How good will it feel to literally save 62% or more on electricity bills for good? To never have to pay through the nose on electricity again just to make the fat cats even fatter. To be able to turn on the AC as often as you want without having to constantly hear that nagging voice inside your head telling you that you need to turn it off because you'll end up paying a fortune. How proud you and your family are going to be when you join the other 22,103 men and women who have already stopped looking for miracles and decided that they are done with contributing to the problem and with playing the price gouging game. How will you choose to spend all your extra savings? Will you put it away towards your wife's dream kitchen? Will you take your children on a road trip once a month? Will you use it to help pay off your mortgage faster? In just several years from now, using a system like this in your home will have saved you at least $12,000, probably closer to $20,000. So I want you to think about what impacts this kind of savings will have on your life. Of course, you could try other options out besides this. There's solar power. Everybody can get solar panels up on the house or in their yard. That's if you can afford shelling out $10,000 or more for a professional system, or $800 for a DIY solar kit that requires a degree in engineering just to set up. And how much sunlight is directly hitting your home during the short, cold days of winter? You could try buying a generator. Yet the costs for such a system are in the hundreds per month range just for fuel. And don't forget that after a few months of operation as a main power source, there will be breakdowns. And I don't have to remind you about the fumes, the noise, and other unpleasant facts. They're simply not built for this purpose. Why risk failure and frustration trying either of those options out when I've done the hard work for you by creating the Nomad Power System? A system that's been tested for years by thousands of successful energy enthusiasts and proven to work guaranteed. You could be getting complete control as soon as tonight. This is my promise to you. If you use the professionally designed manual, the step-by-step blueprints, the illustrated instructions, and the materials cheat sheet that I'm going to give you, you'll create an ultra-low maintenance, ultra-efficient power generator that works just as well as your current power source. And given all of that, you may be feeling a bit unsure of where and how to get started. And ask yourself what the price will be for the full step-by-step manual, the blueprints, the parts and tools list, and everything else that's included. Well, first of all, let me just be clear about it. There is no system like this available anywhere in the world. The Nomad Power System is the result of Keith's extensive expertise in the renewable energy field. However, beyond all the brilliant innovations that have gone into creating this unbelievably effective system, the Nomad Power System is about something bigger and more important than energy. It's about being prepared and keeping your family safe. I want to tell you exactly why I'm so steamed up about getting the Nomad Power System into your hands. And that's because I went to hell and back, and I never want you to go through what I went through. I want to offer you the golden opportunity today to make sure that your home is filled with warmth and love, that you have your own nest egg to ensure you and your family get the things their hearts desire, from school clothes to smile-filled vacations. Saving an extra $1,250 up to $2,400 a year is a pretty big deal, especially since you can do it all without having to send your hard-earned dime to the greedy bastards who are lining their pockets with your family's hard-earned money. Ultimately, this is about taking action today, so you won't have to worry about rising utility bills till hell freezes over. Because once you plug in your home power plant, it won't matter if there's a countrywide blackout, electricity prices go through the roof, the world runs out of fossil fuels, or there's a natural disaster or social unrest. You and your family will always be protected and constantly having enough green energy for cooking and preserving their food, no longer at the mercy of FEMA and the government. 22,103 honest and deserving families have already made the smart decision and invested in the Nomad Power System, and the normal off-the-shelf retail price is $149. I strongly believe that's a truly reasonable price, especially since you'll save up to $1,000 next year and up to $10,000 in the next several years. Yet, while I do think $149 for the Nomad Power System is a complete steal, I'm also aware of the hard times we're all passing and just how hard it is to stay afloat in a world that just wants to drown you. I've been there too. I've held the hand of my wife, and while she gave birth in inhuman circumstances and felt weak and helpless, I felt like I had a gun to my head, like I was being forced to choose between going broke paying my bills or putting my family's safety at risk. That's why, today only, and only on this page, I'm going to lower the retail price for the Nomad Power System with more than 67%. So that instead of paying the normal retail price of $149, which is what more than 22,103 individuals have already gladly done, if you act today, you're going to get the entire Nomad Power System for just $49. That's probably less than half of what you're paying each month on electricity, and you can recoup that investment in as little as 30 days. Getting the blueprints for the Nomad Power System is easy. Just click the big, shiny, inviting Buy Now button that just appeared below, and you'll be taken to our secure order page. You'll be ready in just a couple of seconds, and finally, you'll arrive at our secure members area where you will be given immediate access to the complete system. You'll be able to view the complete guide, the blueprints, the illustrated instructions, and the materials list right from your computer, smartphone, or tablet. You'll also be able to download everything you want and need from your secure members page so you can have it handy. Plus, you can even print everything out in as many copies as you'd like. In addition to your instant access, I want to make sure that building the system and running it will be the easiest, simplest, and most pain-free experience you've ever had in your life. That's why, when you take action and lock in your considerably discounted price today, I'm going to sweeten the deal by tossing in unlimited customer support for life. Out of the 22,103 families who've already made the investment in the Nomad Power System, less than 12 people have had trouble setting up their system. So, while there's a really small chance that you'll ever need assistance, I want to be sure as hell that if you do need any support, me and my team will be right here to help you. After you've completed your order, you'll receive my email address to answer any questions you might have. And if you have even an ounce of doubt or you're somehow stuck, even if you just want to make sure you've done a step right, better to be safe than sorry, simply send me an email. I'll never leave you hanging. Either myself or my support team will get back to you quickly with any questions you have, so you'll always feel taken care of. There is only one thing standing between you and monthly savings of $160 or more on your electricity bill, and that's the orange button you see below right now. Yet, if you're still having any second thoughts about the Nomad Power System, then there's one more thing you should hear about. I want you to try this on me, so you do not have to make a decision right now by taking advantage of my unconditional, no questions asked, money-back guarantee for a full 60 days. Here's how it works. Get your copy today by clicking the orange Buy Now button you see right now. You'll immediately be able to review everything that's included, the manual, the blueprints, the parts list, the unlimited lifetime support. Marvel at how easy it is to make your own electricity with the Nomad Power System. Watch how quickly your power system slows down the moment you plug in your system. And see what it's like to take your electricity bill down to almost nothing by the end of the month. But if for any reason you're not 100% satisfied in every way, or if you're less than thrilled with how much you're saving on electricity, just write me a short email at the address you'll find in the members area, and I'll gladly refund your purchase price. No questions asked, no hassles, and no hard feelings. The Nomad Power System saved us more than $2,400 in energy costs since first building it a few years ago. And even as you're reading this, the Nomad Power System is helping more than 22,103 hardworking families reduce their power bills by 62% or more. Today is your day to claim your power and take responsibility and join all of us in the fight against the energy monopolies. And you have 60 full days to try it on me, risk-free. The way I see it, 3 paths lie in front of you. You could just do what most people do, click away, leave this site behind, for a few more days, which turns into months, even years. Keep feeling like you're going to have a heart attack every time you open up your electric bill, wondering why on earth haven't you made the smart decision to click one button and try the Nomad Power System totally risk-free. Of course, there's a second path. Keep acting like a power Nazi around the house, constantly worrying about every last watt of power. Keep sweating your ways through the summers and freezing your way through the winters, all because you want to save a few bucks. Or end up having your wife ignore you for the rest of the day after you scream at her for forgetting to turn off the AC when they left. But why in heaven's name would you knowingly make that decision? Especially when all you have to do is click the Buy Now button you see below right now. Do that, and you'll gain instant access to the complete Nomad Power System in just a few minutes from right now. You'll also get the same relaxed feeling that comes with not owing anyone a single red cent for as long as you live. You'll receive unlimited lifetime support, and with our generous 60-day guarantee, there's really no way you can lose. I think your decision is pretty obvious, but I can't click that orange button for you. So, you need to act fast if you don't want to miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Join the 22,103 thrilled families who have realized that there is a better, simpler, and a more cost-effective way to power their homes. I look forward to seeing you inside the members-only area in a few moments. Click the Buy Now button below right now. Still here? No worries. I know that sometimes it can be scary to take that first step, and you probably have a few questions. So, to help you feel fully confident in the investment you're about to make, let me take a minute or two to go ahead and answer some of the most common questions I get asked right now. 1. How does Nomad Power System work? The device uses the rotation conversion principle used in many vehicles in clutches and differentials. The brilliant design converts multi-directional circular movement to electricity. It's a unique concept that can be used in every home or emergency situation. 2. What's maintenance like? There's no maintenance whatsoever because the device is a one-time build. 3. Is the Nomad Power System hard to build? Nope. When Keith was helping me to come up with the designs, I was adamant that this be incredibly simple to build. There's very little physical labor, so even the elderly or those with a bad back or other ailment should have no problem making it. As a result, there are just a small handful of materials required, and you should allow about 3 hours total for construction. If you're still feeling nervous, remember that the step-by-step manual is designed with you in mind. Simply follow each step and you'll be there in no time. It's really self-explanatory. Plus, if you do get confused for even a second, don't forget to take advantage of your free lifetime support that's included. 4. What's included again? Inside, you'll get my comprehensive guide showing you exactly how to build your own Nomad Power System. I made this manual with an over-the-shoulder approach, so it's basically like I'm there in the room to help you build it. You'll also get the blueprints, full color, step-by-step directions, and the full materials list. Plus, your investment today will come with unlimited lifetime support. This means you can email me anytime you have a question, and I'll promptly reply. 5. Is there a guarantee? Yes. Once you place your order, you have a full 60 days to check out the manual, blueprints, and instructions. Just follow along, and once you start building, your system will be up and running in around 3 hours. If at any point you are unsatisfied or change your mind about this, just send me an email and I'll refund your entire investment, no questions asked. 6. I'm ready. How do I get started? Simply click on the Buy Now button you see below. You'll then be taken to my 100% secure checkout page where you'll enter your order information. After you've completed your order, you'll have access to my special members-only area. From there, you can instantly download everything. Remember, you have a full 60-day money-back guarantee here, along with unlimited lifetime support. So go ahead and seize your opportunity now by clicking the orange Buy button below.